And with that, good morning, boys and girls. It is Vagabond Nerds. We are back one nerd, so we're back to the.
I'm back, baby. What's going on, man?
Not too much. All right, cool. But if you may have noticed, we are joined by two additional nerds. We have Genesis and Unbiased Ann of ANX. Their podcast is fabulous, particularly if you're a gamer.
Thanks. It's decent. It's okay.
Oh man,
It's okay.
I like their podcast better than I like our own, man.
That's really not saying much because I hate our podcast. Anyway, hi there, guys.
Hi.
Not too much. It's been 2 weeks. I think it's been fun. Just as a quick reminder, for those of you who are watching us live, you may have noticed that our Facebook profile has changed to him. But there is also a page dedicated to Vagabond Nerds. You should have gotten a request to switch over if you're already a fan. Go like and subscribe our to the Facebook page, not the profile. It just says Vagabond Nerds. We're going to be moving everything over to that.
It's good that he gets this out of the way now versus later, because he'd forget later.
He would forget
Or
later.
he would interrupt the middle of some other conversation to bring it up, much like you did last show.
However, if anyone has any Facebook knowledge, please share it with us because
We have no.
we suck ass at doing Facebook. In case you guys haven't wondered.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
Yeah. Well, Facebook has decided that Vagabond Nerds did not deserve a profile and need to be a page.
And decided I needed an extra page.
Yeah.
Which was.
So that's it's the robot overlords. Also, just as a reminder, we are brought to you by Titan Comics. I believe our logo. It's over here somewhere.
Wherever it is.
It's in the ether somewhere. But Titan Comics, Jeremy is awesome. Go buy your stuff from him.
Thanks for checking in on me this morning, Jeremy. Appreciate it, bud.
Jeremy's a good guy.
Did he
unlike
console
the
you
rest of
for
us.
returning to the show?
He consoled me because he was like, dude, I don't have to sponsor you if you're not there anymore. I'll sponsor Sean, not Jason, though. And I was like, I get it.
Aw.
So, but, you know.
Don't
I
worry,
get
you'll
it,
understand.
but-
You'll, as the show goes on, you'll by the time you're
understand.
done, you're going to be like,
You're like,
I get it. So Jason does.
Yeah, that's right. It's perfect. Have fun storming the castle.
Where's the spoon? Anyway. What? Damn, I miss being on this show. What are we talking about today, Scooby?
I have no clue.
Okay.
I assume we're going to talk about.
We're talking about
things?
games.
We're talking video games.
Since we have video game experts, I
Talking
figured we
video
wouldn't be
games.
talking about
Yeah.
ancient Aramaic.
Oh, we never would talk about ancient.
We're not going
I
to talk
would.
about that new stone that they found in
The Pictish,
the Pictish ruin, Scotland or somewhere
Yeah.
like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're not
Yes.
talking about that. Is that? I thought we were.
Was that a kidney stone
that
that they
happening?
found? What do you mean?
No, it's actually.
Did someone get that Scottish man some
Infinity
help,
stones.
man?
So what do we have?
Like,
Yeah.
did
No, it's one of the. They
someone
found.
shat some kidney stones and make this a new stone in Scotland?
It's entirely possible.
Yeah, we're not talking about that.
Oh.
I would never ever want to have to pass an Infinity Stone. That sounds very unpleasant.
Well, it's just the reality stone. Then you can change the pain.
Oh, okay.
There you
I
go.
can see that.
Just saying, man. That's what we're talking about today on the show is stones and how to pass them.
Stones.
Drink lots of water.
Lots of water. Borderlands 3.
Coming up.
What are we thinking about that? That's a topic of discussion today. I'm going to pass this off to you guys first.
Okay. Borderlands 3. Been waiting on this for 7 years.
Yeah.
So
Has it been that long?
It's been that long. I mean, they came
Jeez.
out with Borderlands, the pre-sequel. I don't remember when that came out, but it didn't. It kind of held me over, but it wasn't the same as a full-on Borderlands game. So
Right.
yeah, the Borderlands 2 came out, I think fall of 2012. So
That really is
yeah,
that long ago.
It's been that long.
That's crazy, man.
Now they put out 4K remasters and things of that nature.
Yeah.
but-
Well, then the Handsome Collection came out,
Handsome Jack
which
Collection,
that
yeah.
was I love that they put that out on
Yeah.
PS4. That was such a good improvement.
Right,
Like,
and at first I was like, I was waiting for a Borderlands 3 announcement, and then they announced Handsome Jack Collection.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a prettier game that you've already played. But we're here now. It comes out on the 13th,
Yep.
which is what, next Friday, next Thursday?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah,
So,
something like that.
Yeah, I'm ready. I think have slight reservations for the game, only
Yeah.
because everything's new. They're on new planets. They have new vault hunters.
That's true. They did leave. They're leaving Pandora this time.
Right.
Right.
And they keep pushing this. We have 1 billion guns in the game.
Right.
So it's like, but anytime any developer or producer is asked about it, they kind of get shaky and wobbly, and they don't really explain how they have 1 billion guns in the game.
Well, how would you?
It's crazy.
How would you expect to explain that? Like, how do you? What details would you go into if someone says, "I have questions about having 1 billion guns in the game"?
So, for example, I think what people don't want is we have one submachine gun, but mine has a zoom ×3, and yours has a zoom ×4, so that's a different gun. That's
Right.
what
I got you. Those like tiny little details where you can basically classify it as is, but it's not
it's-
really because it's like this is the same gun.
It's the same gun.
I'm
got
sure
you.
that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what they're going to do.
And
But
there's only so much you can do.
Yeah,
like
a billion.
That. Yeah.
I mean, you have to change every single
yeah.
one.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, are
Definitely.
they saying it's a billion different guns?
Yes.
Or because I mean, I could see that as saying, okay, we have like 4 or 5 models that are out there, maybe even 10 models that are that have different things, but then and they're broken up in those 10 creates your billion.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I could see that being a thing, and that would be, I guess, legitimate as a way of saying. So you can get one of these 5 or 10 guns, but there's enough of them around that you can have. Everyone can have a gun.
Yeah, so they I don't know.
Because that's how we do things in America.
Right. So
Everybody gets a gun.
Right, everybody
gets
gets
one.
at least one.
Everybody gets one.
So you do have that, but I think in this one you have more developers and more different companies who make the guns in the game. So I think you have 9 this time.
Oh,
versus
wow.
maybe 5.
Yeah, it was 4 or 5 last time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they all have a unique trait to them. So,
Right.
for example, one of the makers, once you reload your gun, you actually throw it
TDR.
at the yeah,
Yeah,
and you
TDR.
throw it at the opponent, and it actually explodes. So
Yep.
you can do
The
more.
gun or the clip?
The gun. That's how you reload it. You just throw the gun away, and then you all of a sudden a new one materializes in your hands, and it bounces away and blows up.
That's awesome.
It's a
That does
grenade.
sound cool.
Okay,
Yeah, it's a
so
grenade.
for those of us who've never played Borderlands, let me ask that question.
Me.
So, okay, so you said that there are actual manufacturers
Yes.
in the game. So it's not just
TDR, Malawan, there's Dahl,
Hyperion.
Hyperion is one, which Hyperion's the big baddie.
Right.
Basically, they're the evil corporate overlords,
Right.
if you will.
okay. So in the game lore, that you have all these different companies that have their different stories and missions and objectives, and they are producing things. So it's it fleshes out.
There's an
the environment.
infrastructure and a background to the world itself by having all these competing corporations vying for who's going to get the best weapon, who's going to buy this, who's selling that. And I think part of the backstory is even in Borderlands 1, didn't they have a corporate war that ruined one of the planets?
Yeah.
Isn't that how that worked?
Yep, with Hyperion, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
Hyperion.
Yeah.
Hyperion and somebody else had some crazy corporate war that destroyed the planet, and then everybody had to leave, and they left people on it, and that's how all the crazy people kind of developed.
And that's on Pandora, right?
Yeah, I think
That's
so.
why you have why it's this rubble of
Wasteland.
wasteland of chaos. And
Right.
Yep, they were fighting over a vault, I think it was.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're playing something like this or a game of this nature, what's the next closest game you can compare it to?
I can't, honestly. It's so unique. That's why I like it. The characters are funny and have a lot of depth to them, and the colors are there, and it's cel shaded, so it has that comic book anime.
Yes, that's
feel
what I say. I
to
love
it.
I do
the
love
art
that.
style.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Along-
seems very vibrant.
Right.
The
It
colors
is.
are saturated.
It is.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's like psychedelic in a way.
Yeah.
Everything is just so bright and in your face.
Oh, we're so gonna get high and play this.
Who hasn't?
Some LSD.
Okay, never mind. I apologize. Sorry. Some LSD. Yeah, all right.
That might not work out in your favor, actually, given all the crazy monsters in the game. I think that could lead to a really bad trip.
That's a bad trip.
That's a
And
bad
a
trip.
ball crying on the floor.
Right.
Dude, it
Right.
was just a chicken. What's wrong
They
with
came
you?
at me. Yeah, no kidding. But so we talk about a game like this. I'm assuming replay is high.
Right.
Well, that's part of the draw. You play it through once the first time, and then you unlock psycho mode or hard mode or whatever it is, and then you get to go through and replay the same game. But now you have the antes upped, the stakes are higher, and everything
More
is
difficult enemies, but you have better guns
Yeah.
because you finally found the big vault at the end of the day.
Yep.
And it dropped you 2,000 guns, and you kind of just get to pick the best ones or whatever one fits your style. I think one of the big things on this game, though, is your loot is for you now.
yeah,
So-
instanceable. Yeah.
So I don't have to worry about
The loot ninja.
Sean coming over here and stealing my gun.
That was always difficult playing with somebody online.
Yeah, it was just kill, and tap X, X, X,
Everybody
X, X,
run.
X,
Yeah,
X,
everyone
X,
runs
X,
to pick up all the guns. And you're like, I gotta get everything before anyone else does.
Sometimes when there was still a boss chasing us, so it's like, what are you doing?
I gotta get this gun before you can because it's my gun. I just spent all this time killing somebody, and
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
so,
I can
F you.
honestly say my Red Dead Redemption 2 days, I don't have to worry about that as much.
Yeah, no, you don't have to worry about it. But they turned it so that was, some people enjoyed that feature a lot in the game because they made it like a contest, like who can get to the gun 1st. And so they're going to give you the option to turn it on or off.
Okay.
So you can actually do, you can have your loot ninja moments where you go steal from all your friends. They're like, you suck, you son of a, that kind of deal. Or you can just, everybody gets their own stuff. But it's the same drops, I think, per, like, on either side. So in your instance, for you, we're still going to both pick up the same gun. Is it not working out that way, or is it random?
I thought it was more specific to your class.
Oh, interesting.
So I think because one thing that they were promoting is, hey, it's a situation where you don't have useless guns that don't pertain to your character anymore. You just have to drop them. And
you're not going to pick up a shield for a commando when you're a siren or a berserker or a gunzerker or something, and now you're like, well, crap, I can't use this.
I literally have no idea what they just said.
So there are much like okay. So for you, as you
so this is not unbiased, Jason. This is asshole, Jason. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. The last game I played was Pac-Man.
Dungeons and Dragons,
That's not
right?
true. I played
Something
Super
like
Mario
that.
Brothers 2.
There we go.
Yes,
Okay, so think of it as Mario and Luigi.
Okay.
You have classes in the game. Each class
I
calls
get
it
the
in.
idea.
There you go.
You would be Luigi.
player
Hey,
2?
hey, never mind. I'm saving that one.
No.
No, I think the closest I would probably myself compare this to, and it's still a far off comparison, would have to be Destiny. That's as close as I could get to as far as given the amount of random rolls and guns, because that's the closest. That's the next closest thing I think.
Yeah,
that you have.
I think there's some dungeon crawlers like your Champions of No Wrath, though that style of game.
Yeah.
Where you have a lot of different weapons.
Unreal, would that, like Unreal Tournament, would that also go the same route, or is that not enough gear in that?
Right, not enough gear in that.
Yeah,
So
okay.
something like your dungeon crawlers, your, like I said, Champions of No Wrath, Baldur's Gate, stuff like that.
Oh,
where
yeah,
We
yeah.
actually go into dungeons and you loot and you get new swords and you get new items to upgrade your swords and things of that nature. So think of that, but except for with guns and first-person shooter battle system.
I got you.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I should talk about Brian since he just picked up a PS4 for the first time. He said what really brought him back into gaming was the Switch. So, Brian, this conversation is apparently not for you, or it's very much for you. I don't know which one it is.
It's for anybody. Congratulations. Welcome back to the fold.
Apparently Borderlands 3 is going to be dope.
It's gonna be.
Hey,
Oh my gosh, Jason.
That's one.
That's
one.
actually two, I think.
No. Everybody gets one.
Everybody gets one.
So,
And the one thing that I haven't said is you said it's like Destiny 2. So
Well,
first player.
For me, that's as close as I would compare it to.
If you had to pick something.
If I had to pick something, that's what
Yeah.
I would pick to compare it to.
but this is a first player shooter.
Yeah, it's first person.
First-person shooter, yeah.
First person shooter.
so the battle system is the same.
Sorry, yeah.
If you are a person who's not used to doing first person shooters because you get that dizziness, what's a good way to overlook that? Because this is a game, just from the aesthetics alone, I want to play this.
Dramamine.
well, okay, quick question.
Drugs.
Battlefield allows you to do that sort of objective third-person view, so you're still technically first-person, but you're not in the
Right.
person. It's not as Wally doesn't allow you to do that,
No.
or are you strictly?
doesn't.
I don't
No.
think so. I don't think so.
Okay,
No, so strictly first-person shooter. So I
then
don't
maybe
know.
it's just not for you,
Maybe change the settings on your TV.
or maybe get some
To
LSD and
not-
watch
to not
somebody-
dizzy?
Or don't play in your theater room like you do.
Oh my God, we're gonna bring up the theater room.
Yeah.
It is immersive.
You have a theater room.
Oh yeah. Oh dude.
Aren't you right behind? Oh, I can actually say this for the first time. Don't you? Okay.
Oh, yeah. For the first time, we actually have someone who has more golden robot monkeys serving them than Raymond.
That's effing two, man. You almost made me drop an F-bomb. That's two. Stop
Yes,
it.
we've given the F-bomb to Ann.
Ann's going to have that first. Unbiased.
But, yeah, no, actually, I love your gaming room. It's
the retro gaming
Yeah, the
room.
retro gaming room. It's like a museum.
Yeah.
And we've got to get some stuff out there to take some.
No,
film.
we got to steal
It's-
that. That's what we got to do.
Yeah.
I ain't got room for it, man.
I don't have any room for it either. But
My
I'll
nerves-
kick a kid out.
Somebody's got to go.
My kids, y'all fight over which one room's getting turned into the game room. So,
Castle Perez will have its own very.
hey, no, man, it's all about Castle A and X right now.
Yeah. So right now we're almost at 1,000 games.
Nice.
in
Nice.
the collection, and almost 50 consoles, 50 unique consoles.
Nice.
Wow,
So,
man.
Including the Virtua Boy.
And, yeah, working Virtual Boy.
Which I was impressed by. When
Yeah, that's my
I saw.
favorite
I was
part.
like,
I didn't
that's-
know there were 50 consoles out there.
Yeah.
Especially
There's
for the
more.
unique.
There's more.
I know. Like,
Yeah.
I had no idea there was that many individual
I didn't
ones.
either.
Sensing a little
But I've
tension
been
on-
educated. And every time we go back, there's like more. It's like, oh my gosh, it just never stops.
Where do you guys get these? Like just on eBay, on random spots, or is there like? Because I know there's a not Play It Again, Play It Again Sports.
Play It Again.
There's a in Arlington.
Game Over.
Thank you. There's Game Over. Do you
Yeah.
guys go there a lot for that? Or
We did
Yeah.
when they first opened. So shout out to them because they're an awesome company. But
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the stuff is now either sold out or they have a lot of games without the actual original cover art. So
Yeah.
we don't go there as much anymore. But when we went there, Game Exchange is another one that's kind of on the outskirts where they don't have Game Stops,
Mm-hmm.
which is something else I think we're going to be talking.
We're going to talk about
today.
that.
Yeah, oh,
today.
Yeah, they're like
Yeah.
in random towns.
Teasers,
Yeah.
and conventions. So
Yeah.
just a lot of
Okay.
retro gaming conventions.
Okay,
They,
cool.
Oh, yeah.
they have at least 5 a year here. At
Wow.
least.
I didn't
minimum.
realize there were that many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's Retro Palooza. That's a big one. And
Right.
I've seen that one.
They have them
That's-
here in Houston.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a big one. Then and then
Retro-
Let's Play.
Let's
or
Play Gaming Expo.
I saw something about that on
Yeah.
Facebook for the first time this year. I saw a
Yeah.
Let's Play thing going on. So
Okay, I have a bit of a nerd question.
really, are you sure?
On a show called Vagabond Nerd?
Hold
Just
on.
a regular question.
This is going to be even nerdier than usual.
I don't think so, Jim.
Okay, so
Let him try.
as y'all obviously know, the original Super Mario 2 was actually another game. It was just reskinned. It was Doki Doki something in Japan. Do y'all have that game?
Super Mario 2. Is that the one? The Lost.
It's the one where it was
Lost Levels?
Dreamland. Yeah.
Is that- is
well,
that-
yeah, but it became Super Mario Brothers 2 here. But in Japan, it was another game altogether. The characters were different. They just reskinned it because there was a Super Mario Brothers 2, but it was considered too hard for America.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
And so they reskinned this Doki Doki game, and they just put Mario on top of it. I was just wondering if that's
So we do have a game called Super Mario 2 that was released in the U.S. So we do have that.
but not the original.
So I just want to point out the moment that Jason started his question was the exact moment that Bach, the show, just
Started snoring.
just started snoring right off.
Yeah.
I love
It's perfect. It was
Yeah.
perfect timing.
Yeah.
It's perfect timing.
hey, Bach.
show mascot just started snoring as soon as Jason started talking, which is
Fine, I'm gonna be over here. I'm gonna drink my
Look,
fabulous
look,
black
you're-
cherry water.
you're
and an
talking
Oreo.
and-
Hey,
he
wait a
just
minute.
going.
Did you set this whole thing up on purpose,
Looks
or
nice.
is that just a? I mean,
You are coordinated.
cheers to you for accessorizing, and even you didn't go with the same shade. You went more like a lavender. I like that.
It's very calming.
so on our show.
Calming.
We derail a lot.
Squirrel.
I will.
Scor-
I'm
very
not going to
much.
answer your question. I will leave it up to your imagination.
Oh, good God. No, I mean, it's at the end of the day, I think we're all looking forward to Borderlands 3,
Mhm.
right? I am going to attempt it. This is one of the. One
You're
of the
gonna
ones-
try
I'm going
it.
to try it. I'm
You're
going to
gonna
try
try
it.
it.
What system? PlayStation?
PS4, yeah.
Okay.
You thinking Xbox?
Yeah, I play all my first-person shooters on Xbox because of the controller. I mean,
Yeah, the controller has a better feel, I think.
for
on it.
FPS.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
it's a situation where a game called Halo. I don't know if you heard of it.
Huh.
It's
Is that
Is that one of
what
those
is that?
indie-
Is
is
that
that-
is that
one of those
new?
indie
Is that
guys?
something-
Yeah.
That was the
That's coming to Switch.
That was the precursor to Destiny, is what it was.
Oh,
okay.
It was the bookmark to Destiny.
I understand. I never heard of Halo.
Yeah. So it saved Xbox from going under, and so everything Xbox related is tailored to first person shooter. So
Yeah.
even now the controller to me is just better.
Yeah.
To play FPS.
It doesn't tax your thumbs as much trying to move around.
Yeah,
It just
the
they put
triggers
it,
are-
they put it in a much better position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and I don't know. I love the controller for the PS4. So much so that I'd rather get a connector. If to play it on Xbox is better, that's great. But I'm gonna get a connector for it then, so I can still use my PS4 controller. That the Xbox One to me is just a little bit more bulky than I want. Although
So here's the deal with Xbox versus PS4, and I know this is a crazy debate, goes back 10 plus years. Like I said, the controller for me is better for FPS, so that wouldn't necessarily give you a better experience using the PS4 controller. However, the multiplayer functions in Xbox Live is better than PlayStation. So,
Gotcha.
Like it just is.
Well, what functions? Like can you
It's
point
just
out a
easier.
few?
It's just easier to connect with your friends
Yeah.
and enjoying games, and it's just a more stable environment for multiplayer games.
But it's really your preference because there are lots of people that play PS4
Yeah, there's a lot of
for first person. You just don't.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
But multiplayer in general for Xbox, I feel it's just easier and
It's more user friendly
just
for
user-friendly
them
for you?
for Xbox.
fair
yeah,
enough.
because they've been doing it a paid subscription for longer.
That's true. They have.
Because the PS3,
You're right. Yeah.
the PS3
Well, they started
just, was trash.
What did they start about 6 months later?
Yeah, but it was free. So it was free, but it was not as good.
You don't have that money supporting the development for it.
Right.
So yeah, that would
Right.
make sense.
Right.
That would make sense.
So they've caught up, but they're still just a little bit behind. in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I know. I hear a lot about the sound quality for chat on Xbox multiplayer is way superior,
Right.
vastly superior to PS4.
Well, and also could just be the headsets. The default PlayStation headset, Gold and Platinum headsets.
No, I don't waste my. No.
I had one,
Yeah.
and then I finally used it, and
Yeah.
everyone was like, "We can't hear you at all."
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's like I went and bought the Sony version of this headset. It doesn't have a microphone that comes out. It's just a built-in microphone, so they can't hear you.
Oh yeah, because that's
I find
way
it
off.
strange.
Yeah, that's way
Well,
off.
that they would be. I mean, it's Sony. I mean, you would imagine that they would have that kind of thing.
But it
down
comes with
just-
it, right? So
No,
Have you seen their
it was
Spider-Mans?
$100.
Oh, really?
Oh, well, I'm not talking.
That's insane.
Look, you need to leave Spider-Man 3 out of this, all right? Just saying.
And Amazing 2, and
No, Amazing
Spider-Man
was
1.
fine.
Amazing was fine. I liked. No, hold on. My point being, he is an electronics producer. I figured they would have had that down.
No, but
We're not talking about.
But you're
their
talking
ability
about
to
a
make
system-
bad Spider-Man movies.
but you're
I was just doing.
Damn you,
parallel.
Sony!
good
Just
lord.
doing a
Damn
parallel.
you for what you've done.
That was last week's show. Yeah.
I'm
Anyway,
gonna hold a grudge on this one.
shut up, man.
Them and the French.
It is.
Random question.
Yeah.
Where's the bear?
Oh yeah, where's
right
the
here.
bear?
I'm right here. What?
Okay.
It's right here.
You look different. I don't know.
It's the lighting.
It's
Okay.
when you're
Okay.
in studio, the bear looks different.
Not
Okay.
as
He
not
got-
as fuzzy.
He got a
you
trim.
know? Yeah.
A little
He
bit
got a little bit of
Okay.
a trim leading up to this.
More like
Yeah, I
a
didn't
Dazzler.
put on my tie.
Oh.
touch. And he's also not naked.
That's true.
Which
Well,
thank you.
I
Thanks.
can
You're
be.
welcome.
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah.
You're welcome. No, God, no. No one wants to see that.
Unlike the $1 Million Saloon, I get paid to keep my clothes on.
Yes, you do. All day, every day. No, with the headset though, I think it's kind of common for whatever headsets that come with the system or that are put out by them. They've all been kind of crappy, right? It's always these third-party headsets that are the one to go. I mean, you can get a $30 third-party headset that will sound infinitely better than whatever anyone
with,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's coming with.
That's
Yeah.
how I feel the same way.
But, that's,
So-
but again, it just seems odd that Sony couldn't do that themselves. Or did they overreach?
No, they didn't overreach. The thing was, is you've already got the cost of the system. They're not trying to put more stuff into the peripherals. They're just not outside of the controllers. So anything else is going to be questionable at best. That's just how. But I feel that way about every game system that's come out. That their peripherals that are made for it just aren't up to quality that these third-party individuals that are doing. And for me, I'd rather have a better experience with that third party than Sony or Xbox, Microsoft, or even Nintendo.
Because I'm using HyperCloud. It's a HyperX brand.
Oh, the
So,
HyperX ones, yeah.
So yeah, you're all in. And when you're a gamer like you guys, I mean, it's you want the high quality stuff. And
Yeah, my Turtle Beach finally broke after 2 years, I think. I had a 500p or whatever it is, basically. And that thing was great.
Yeah.
I mean, the sound quality on it was good. Everybody could hear me on the other end of everything, but it finally did that one thing where I picked it up to put it on, and those little extenders just popped, and I was like, well,
Oh,
yeah.
Getting closer. Getting closer.
So I threw it away. But yeah, now I got a Steel Series, which is the all metal, real, and it's got the little ski style band to kind of keep everything suspended off your head, and it works great. I mean, it takes a little setup online. You have to actually hook it up to your computer, and you can adjust sliders and faders and play with the EQ, and
fancy.
Really?
yeah, it is. It is super fancy, but
Cool.
I'm gonna do this because someone's asking.
Yeah.
But has anyone seen the Avengers gameplay? Or what they're
only in
I
the
have
previews
not.
for me.
I have not seen it. I saw the original launch. The preview,
That trailer
the
they did,
teaser,
yeah.
And all the characters looked funny.
It was
the best.
their
the best-
version of everybody's.
The best
actors,
meme
yeah.
I saw about that was like, you idiots, you capture their stunt doubles.
right.
It's like, was greatness.
Yeah.
Good
the
Spaceballs
Black Widow
pull.
looks
Yeah,
weird.
like-
Like I get the costumes having to be different, right, for copyright and licensing reasons, but
Right.
like their faces look weird.
Black Widow looks like a guy.
Yeah. Like it's
Not
that
your
was the thing
mother,
that I'm
it's
like.
a man.
It looks like you put Thor's
It's a man,
face
man.
on her body.
It's a man, baby.
It's a man.
No, it's very the gameplay. I sat and watched about 10 minutes of it, which I think is what they have on there. Maybe they may have 20 minutes, and I hope they've got more than this. I really do, because it doesn't look impressive to me. And Sony did put out a hell of a Spider-Man game.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Which is just replayable all the way.
Yeah, I think the Spider-Man game is by far the best comic book
Yeah.
game I've ever played. 'Cause
Which
like,
is saying something, because Arkham Asylum and that
Yeah.
series with the Arkham Knight and everything else, it's up there.
they both got super repetitive, but
Yeah.
Spider-Man just swinging from the buildings
It's
was
just fluid.
fun.
Right? I mean, it was very fluid. It was unique in that the other times you were playing a Spider-Man, it didn't quite come out that way. But I say that because the Avengers, this is Marvel's first attempt at creating a online or universe for their games, and I don't feel it's going to be strong. Not with what we've seen so far.
And I think that's why in the past they've always just licensed that stuff out. Let somebody else make it.
Yeah.
We don't need to do it ourselves. Let somebody else do it.
Well, they got that Disney golden cocaine money though, so.
Golden cocaine money.
What a lame joke, Raymond. You should
Yeah,
feel ashamed of yourself.
I wonder who brought that one to us the first time.
I'm guessing Jason.
At least with platinum cocaine.
Hey,
Platinum
you were on
cocaine.
my side. Now
No,
you're on
but
the
I
list.
just-
Well, now
now
she
no offense for
understands.
you, lady.
She understands now.
I got the sarcasm from you on that one.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
it's my influence, is what
It
you're saying.
is. I picked it up.
You're your own.
Corrupting
You're
them
your own
slowly.
downfall, Jason.
Yeah, it's just like we're showing it behind us right now, and the graphics,
Right.
they're cringeworthy.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not bad. To be fair to them, it's not bad. It's just if you're going to do it based off of what you've already established, then
Right.
get closer. I know likeness rights have got to be a pain, and I know they're tired of paying Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans. I'm sure.
Uh-huh.
But at the same time, if you're going to
then-
do this,
well, then
do
go
it right.
stylize.
Or do it.
Right?
Do it completely opposite. Go so far away from
Yeah.
the original likenesses that you're not even like trying to
Right.
have
Yeah.
someone go, wait, is that Chris? It's not. It looked. What happened to your face? Like,
Right. Yeah.
move away from it to the point where you don't have to worry about
Yeah,
it.
that's my point. Like, just go with something that's maybe more, animated, right? Something that's instead of going full 3D, full, trying to go lifelike, go more of an Incredibles, more of a.
Oh, you want to see like a Fortnite version of
Yeah.
Marvel's Adventures?
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
no. Well, I mean,
Yeah, Thor can be the giant banana.
we're showing some of the gameplay right now, and it's not bad. It's not. I think this is a great PS3 game. But certainly if you're looking forward to these next gen systems, which I don't know if anyone's seen the first crack at the next gen systems on what they've put out.
I've seen rumors and leaks about PS5. I don't know how
Yeah.
credible they are, but
No,
I've
I don't
seen.
either.
The only thing I saw was the clips with Spider-Man. So it's
Yeah.
funny that you brought that up, where they loaded, they went into a
Oh,
different part
yeah,
of the city,
Yep.
and they loaded that part of the city on the PS5 16 times in the same times that it took the PS4 to load it one time.
Yeah, the processing
Wow.
power, if it is what they say it is going to be on par with PCs.
Yeah.
Or at least, I mean, like.
There's been a couple of bits of rumor that the computing power is actually going to be stronger than what the current PCs are at right now.
That's good.
Now,
They need
whether or
that.
not that's
They
true,
need that.
I don't know, because you've got systems out there with as much hardware and processing hardware that some of these systems have. It's kind of hard to believe, but I mean, are we looking at our first $500 or $600 gaming system? I mean, if it's going to promise that, I would do it. I would pay it.
So along those lines, there's actually a question I have. And this may be too technical a question, but I've always wondered, why is it that PC games have always traditionally been high? Again, the PCs are higher powered. You have these gaming systems that are designed to run video games. Like, they don't have to run your taxes and everything else. Why is it PC games have been so far ahead, graphics-wise, speed-wise, as compared to these dedicated gaming systems?
Well, I think the simple answer is there's always new technology coming out, and you can go buy that technology and upgrade your PC. I can't upgrade my PS4 at all. The only thing I can do is add an external hard drive. I think the
Well, you can change
PS4,
you can change the internal one out too.
Yeah, you can
which
put
I
the
did that
internal
the
one.
other. I did that. A while ago.
But as far as computing power and processors and things of that nature, I can't. It's where it's at.
It is what it is.
It's a mass-produced. They
Right.
make it for mass production, and as such, they don't change everything. They want to pump them out as quickly as
Probably
possible.
to keep it as cheap as possible.
With a PC and a tower, the whole thing is. I mean, you could take it down to the nuts and screws. I mean, just take the whole thing apart into skeleton, and you could fill it with whatever.
That's what we
you
did with
want.
Jason. We rebuilt him. We made him stronger, faster, better.
Yeah, I know, it's kind
I
of
think you're gonna need to. Can you redo that part?
I had a $6 budget, not $6 million.
Oh, okay.
So you went to the value menu and you built the grimace.
I built the grimace. It's
No.
I am feeling better. Thank you for asking.
No, but that's always been a good question. I've wondered the same thing, but I do think it's mainly up to the fact that you have a mass-produced product that they're not going to want to change their internal pieces because it's rolling out on an assembly line.
Yeah, but I get that. I mean, computers are mass-produced too. These aren't, being handmade.
You're
But I
right,
get the point. But I guess the point is you're trying to keep it under $300. You're trying to keep it stable.
Well,
right?
and
I
also
think that's the other thing
they're
is-
designing their own OP to go with this console,
Right.
so that you can interface with a controller versus finding an adapter and software to make it interfaceable with something like Windows or an Apple, OS.
Right.
So it's like it's OP OS. That's part
I
of
know what you're
OPP.
saying.
You know me.
Alright.
But yeah, so it's very different. They have to design their own software. They have to come up with their own thing, and so they have everything designed to fit in that. And on top of that, their design usually, once it's put out, is what, 2 years old, 3 years old? At that, by
Yeah.
the time it hits the shelves.
So quick story about the PS3. PS3 actually, up until like the last couple of years of production, Sony lost money on every system that was sold. So at the time when it was made, I'm not saying that it was better than PC, but it was the most powerful thing that they can put out, like you said, within a certain budget. I think it was NASA who went out and bought 30, 60
That's right, and they
use
stuck
their
them all
CPU,
together,
stuck
and
them all
they
together.
chained it. Yep,
Yeah.
I remember that.
So at the time,
I remember seeing
it
that
was the
online.
new
That was neat.
technology, and it was maybe
Top
not the
notch.
top of the line, but
Yeah.
it was up there.
I remember when the first PlayStation came out. Actually, that was actually one of the big scandals. Was that a bunch of Iraqis were coming over
PS2.
here? It was the
PS2.
It was the PS2. Yeah,
Yeah.
PS2. To buy them and ship them so they could use the 3D
For the
chips.
computing power.
Yeah, for the rockets.
No, for the rockets.
Yeah.
What?
For
Seriously.
their
Yeah.
missiles,
Yeah.
because
For the-
it was
remember
that
that.
much, it was that much more powerful than their guidance systems.
Than
Don't
anything they
remember
could
that.
produce.
Wow.
And so they were literally taking it was the 3D chips specifically for the guidance system.
Right.
They were just taking them out and using them over there.
but
That's
I,
crazy.
Having
I
a
do
real
think-
genius flashback moment,
I
right?
love that movie. Val Kilmer.
Yes.
there you
Yes.
go.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
I know.
But there,
Taking the chip out, putting a
Yes.
different one
Yeah.
in. Yeah, that's.
but that should be a thing, right? That should be if we were at a stage right now. Look, for lack of a better term, we could already jailbreak a PS or a Microsoft. It may not be pretty, but there can be stuff that's added or modded to it.
Right.
What they really need to do is just the next generation is just make it to where, look, we're not going to put any more into it. But if this comes out better, we're going to allow you to mod that.
See, that's what I was thinking.
know.
I'd like to see Sony and or Microsoft put out something more akin to a customizable tower that you can build out, and you can still buy those parts from them.
Yeah.
But they could say, "Hey, look, here's our new graphics card.
Well,
Here's our new CPU."
Or
Yep.
like
AA.
I had it. Yeah.
Hey.
My name is Jason, and I'm addicted to nerds. No, but like
Thoughts and
say,
opinions
there's no
expressed
more-
by Jason are
like-
his and his alone.
Exactly. Like there's no more PS5 or 6. Like here's the PS Tower.
This is the
Yeah.
PlayStation.
And
That's what I'm
you
saying.
could
Yeah.
customize
and you
it.
could,
Mhm.
yeah,
That's
it's like,
it.
as they advance things, like you can
Yeah.
just plug and play
Yeah.
out like your new hard drives. And if you want to upgrade it, you can do that forever, and they're just going to make the
I mean,
pieces.
eventually you'd have to come out with a new housing because they're going to want to continue. You can't just it's what is it called? Planned obsolescence, where eventually they're like, no, look, this is no longer going to be viable. You've got to
Because
buy
you-
a new one,
Right.
Yeah.
Because you
You
got to
run-
make
you
money.
run out of
Right,
room.
but you could do that
Or
like
that,
every
yeah, whatever
10 or
it is.
15 years
Exactly.
instead of every 5, and then
Exactly,
which
yeah.
will allow you to make money off of the parts.
And at the end of the day, it's all corporate.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it is. It's always going to be that point. And I know for people, and I'm going to go specifically for Genesis, Sean, and myself, when that new system comes out, we're gonna be.
I'm going to be looking at getting it. Yeah, I'm really going to be looking to get it.
That's just how it is, and I'll probably do both. I'll do the Scarlet.
It's going to be the king, huh?
Ask Genesis, man. I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's a different kingdom. That's what that is. But no, I mean, I will. I mean, I'm a sucker for that, and it's not like I'm getting rid of anything. In fact, I'm trying to, especially with these little retro mini things. Which, let me stress, the PS Classic sucked if you are used to what it's going through. But for $20, go pick one up.
Because it tanked. It tanked so hard.
Go pick one up. Go online to Amazon. Get you one of those other little.
Get you one.
Get you one. Get you one of those other little gaming cards that you can hook into it, and you've got a very viable system.
I've already got a PS1, and I still have the games to it. So why do I need?
Everyone kept theirs. I didn't keep mine.
Sorry.
Yeah, well,
Sounds like a personal problem.
You're like, well, maybe you should have kept yours. Well, thanks, jackass.
Maybe some of us had an N64 at the time.
Maybe some of us still have the N64
at the
time.
That's if there's any system that I actually got that I don't have anymore, it's the N64. I miss that one. That's the one I miss.
That's the one that everyone's clamoring for.
That's the one I miss,
64.
man.
But I think the problem with the Mini 64 is you're licensing, so you may not be getting GoldenEye.
Well, it was the same thing with the PS Classic.
Mm-hmm.
So, my thing out to, if you're watching, everyone out there that talks shit about
get him, killer.
the PS Classic because of the lack of games or the crappy games they had. Man, they put the list out for the games months before it was released. So for you to go out and bash it the day it came out and tell everybody not to buy it just because you didn't like the game, it's not like they kept that information from you.
Yeah.
You knew what was going to be on there.
Well before it was released.
Yeah, that seems ridiculous to complain about the games that are being released.
That's the only thing that's the only complaint I've heard about.
But
that's weird. See, my complaint was always they weren't direct rips; they're ports. So they're ports of the games themselves. It's like, you're Sony. Couldn't you just get the games you already freaking got and put those in? So that was the complaint I had was for, what was it, when it came out it was $89 or $99, and my thought was, I'm not paying $100 for ports of games that don't even work right.
Well, we do have the Sega coming out this month.
I still have my Sega.
So Jesus, dude, little pack rat.
What, dude? I still kept that. That with Comic Zone and Vector Man and a bunch of other stuff.
I got my
Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2.
I got my first system, and any system after that, I was told.
Which, by the way,
you better earn it.
PlayStation.
So my systems got traded in.
Yeah. That was the first one I bought myself. Was the Genesis, the smaller one. Once it came out, I bought that one. My brother had the big original one where it was like all the way, like a slider button on the side to turn it on, like a But I went
shaft in the front.
When he left and he took it with him, I was like, what do I do now? So I had to do the same thing. I had to save up money and buy one. And because of that, I didn't get rid of it because I was like, this costs a lot of money.
Yeah,
and it's great, man. So, like I'm on the list for the new one for the Sega Mini, which I can't wait for.
There's a list.
Like a pre-order.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Genesis,
there's an official list.
Yeah, I'm like, you're like, yeah, we're on the list. Like, I contacted my rep at Sega, and he said, Sega.
The answering of the phone is like, VIP service, can we please help you? It's like, oh yeah, sure.
Hi, Raymond.
There it is.
Hey, I'll also nab one for Genesis. Oh, he's already on the. Okay, thanks. Sorry, my mistake.
So speaking of your corporate connections, what are y'all's thoughts on what's going on with GameStop?
Ooh, GameStop.
It's not looking good.
It's not looking good.
It just got personal.
So what? Tell us what happened. Tell us, dude. What do you know about it?
The specifics that I've read about is that they're every time they do their earnings and things of that nature, their used game sales and used game revenue is down, and it keeps going down. So that's the main thing that I've heard about why their stock price is where it's at. It's
plummeted.
It's so low right now. It's finally stabilized at maybe 4%, but I mean $4.
Yeah.
But it was just earlier this year. It was close to 20. And like 2 years ago, it was 30.
And this is all a direct, or it seems like this is a direct result of the lack of sales of the resale games.
Yeah, because that's where they make the bulk of their money. They don't make
Really?
they don't make a whole lot of money from new games and new game consoles. It's just all used and pre-owned games.
Yeah.
Now, is that because of the rise of these mom and pop stores that are starting to hold more retro games, or is it because GameStop oversaturated?
Or is it because of online gaming?
That's what I was thinking.
'Cause
Digital purchases.
I think
Yeah.
it's a combination of everything. And and my personal belief is I think people have a hatred for GameStop. I don't know how you all feel, but
How did that develop?
I dislike GameStop as far as not giving you enough credit for your trade-ins, the long lines, the long waits.
No, I've stopped trading in, man.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
I see that all the time.
Not just okay. So yesterday, Gears 5 was released. My GameStop didn't have it, so I had to drive 30 minutes.
Your GameStop is my GameStop, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
They were out already?
Your GameStop is mine.
So here's the deal.
GameStop too.
Gears put out its Ultimate Edition that came out 5 days early. The normal version of Gears comes out next week. I wanted the Ultimate Edition.
Of course.
Not available. So I had to drive to Best Buy, shout out, 30 minutes away because they had them in stock.
Did you
By
guys
the way,
want to watch Waxahachie?
Best
Yeah.
Best Buy.
That's mine. Yeah.
If you're listening, we'd like a new sponsor. Thanks.
You put it right
Yeah.
here. So it's just a lot of things. I think it's the same thing with Blockbuster. A lot of people hated Blockbuster, but you didn't have another place to go to get movies. And as soon as they had another thing to do,
Yeah,
Netflix-
when Hollywood
Yeah.
Video came out, they started really taking a hit
Yeah.
from all the business going over to Hollywood
Yeah.
Video. And stuff
Well,
like
and
that, so.
I think you made a good point. We were talking about this last night. Things are changing. The world is changing, and
Yeah.
just like with Blockbuster, it got to a point where people didn't want to go out and rent movies. They could just order them.
Yeah.
You know,
Order
remember
them.
the big
is-
Netflix.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
original
And-
where you could, they would come in the mail.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Right.
That was
like-
how we started with
Yeah.
ours. Yeah, that's exactly how we started with ours.
And then he made the point. I didn't even think about it. It's like, yeah, and now nobody goes and buys music anymore. You either stream it, right? No, not nobody. No.
Albums.
Only nobodies.
He does too.
That's a good segue for another section coming up here shortly.
But no, he does too. But most people don't. That's why when you go to
Yeah.
Best Buy,
But-
you
and-
don't see the music
And
anymore.
that was the funny thing, though. We were talking about the music thing just the other day because
Yeah.
we were talking about going to Best Buy and picking something up, and he goes, "Dude, I don't even see it here."
not there
and then I
anymore.
remembered the last time I went to one of the newer Best Buys that had just popped up in a shopping center. I remember going in and I'm wandering around. I'm like, "Hey man, where's your music?" And he goes, "Huh?" And I was like, "What are you talking about? Huh? This is Best Buy. Like,
right.
where's
Well,
the
you
music?"
used to be their thing.
He turned around and handed him his phone. Sir, here's
Yeah.
your
And,
iPhone.
well,
you know.
he directed me to a four-way.
Yeah.
And there's one four-way in Best Buy that has like the new hits, and I was
Right.
just like, where's your A, B, C, like where
Where
are
can
your
I-
aisles? Like
Right,
where can
yeah.
I go
Yeah.
through and scroll through music
Right.
anymore?
But that's also why what you were looking for this past week last week was sold out in moments.
That's right. It's the
Moments.
same. It's the
Yeah.
same idea.
You know,
yeah, if you didn't
um,
pre-order and get it via Amazon or Spotify
or
or,
go be a
anybody
chump and
else,
buy everything that was on the rack.
then
I'm not going to say who did that.
Jason.
if you didn't do that, you wouldn't get it. You don't get the physical copy anymore. It had come to you
Yeah.
mailed at this
Right.
point. So
And I still love physical copies. I mean, I'm always going to do that. I love digital movies because it's easier to just
yeah.
go to a
Yes, me
site
too.
to see them. But I still go out on your Tuesdays, go buy the DVD. Wednesdays, video games and comics.
I've got all my music backed up on 2 different hard drives because eventually that's my thing. One of them's going to crash.
Right. Yeah.
One of them's going down. And when you've actually had that happen and you lose
Yep.
some 2,000 songs and you're like, I got to start all over again, and you got that box
Yeah.
upstairs in your closet that you got to bring back down and go through each CD and put it in and hit, and someone's going to go, well, that's why you have it backed up to the cloud. And I'm like, well, yeah, but that's how someone
Yeah.
steals your information. And,
Well, plus once the EMP
your
goes
level
off,
of paranoia.
yeah,
Right?
Once that EMP goes off, right, like the cloud's going to go, and then you're not going to have any way of retrieving.
You don't even need an EMP. You just need
But
a
even-
solar flare.
But even
and you're
even our,
done.
even our youth these days, like even my daughter,
solar mass
she's-
ejection, by the way.
She loves CDs. She's got all
It's
my
mass ejection,
old
not a
CDs.
flare.
Yeah.
She has. Shut up, Jason.
Coronal mass ejection. Sorry.
Is
Thank
that
you,
is
Jansen.
that a problem that happens when you get older, or
Yes.
You don't want to know where that mass ejection happens. So,
coronal mass
No.
Mass
ejection?
ejection. Yeah.
blown O-ring. But like, my daughter, she.
I did that in high school after drinking too many Coronas one night.
I understand. She loves like Josie Records. She loves going to Josie Records. She goes and gets records. She's looking for cassettes. She's got CDs.
I see more vinyls in the stores.
Yeah,
than
I was gonna
CDs.
say.
Yeah.
I'm buying vinyl
More
a
vinyl.
lot.
Which is
Yeah.
hysterical
I'm actually
because-
buying current vinyl.
So
I
going
love
back to Best
I
Buy,
found vinyls at Aldi the
Yeah,
other day.
they're everywhere now.
They had. I was like, What the?
Yeah, but with all it's never going to be the same one each week.
Exactly.
Yeah, but we're not talking about Conway Twitty, man.
No, they had Mariah Carey. Her Christmas album apparently is on
Pre or
vinyl.
post ice cream fake out.
And that's what
A freak out.
And that's what Jason picked up all on the shelf was all that Mariah Carey stuff right
Yeah.
there.
All the glitter. Okay.
All the glitter.
He's like, pretty much.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, so Tool dropped their new album.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Finally, after
And
13 years.
That was one that we hunted down.
Yeah.
I did not believe that it was going to... I didn't think... When you texted that morning and said, hey, if you guys happen to see this, I was like...
No, I didn't even say that.
Yeah.
I told you which one of you is going to go out and buy this for me
I was
today.
trying to make you not
Who's
look like a
volunteering?
douche.
I was hoping you even asked,
Hey.
do they make CDs anymore? Like,
Full
I don't
on
know.
asshole.
Yeah.
I am going to own that. I always will. But that's why I texted you. I said, which one of you is getting off your dead ass and going to go buy me this freaking CD? And neither one of them. That's why I said it the way I said it. You know.
But I was surprised. I mean, so, yeah.
Well, you when you picked it up, you said that how many were there on
They
the
had
shelf?
4.
They had 4. And
Not after I left.
we'll get to that.
No, we won't.
But they had 4, and so you went to another one. And how long did it take you to get from spot A to spot B to find out
It
they were
took-
already sold out?
20 minutes for me to get to spot A to spot B, and it had already sold. Well, I know why the one that I first got to was sold out, but the second one, I was surprised that they actually had one still on the shelf.
And that's what I'm saying, man. It's
someone might have picked up another one for that. I don't know. I mean, I just love collecting music too. But no, and now, I mean, it's because these are becoming more rare on these items that we have on. I mean, this first off, it's a beautiful CD deluxe set that Tool put out.
Yeah, the actual the full deluxe set is
You're
amazing.
talking a 4-inch HD monitor included in this thing.
Really?
It's a very
It's-
visual
yeah.
experience.
Yeah, there's some people who did an unboxing online. So if you haven't seen it yet, or if you don't own one, you can go check it out.
Yeah,
But
because that's not this show.
It's a gate.
Yeah.
It's like a gatefold open up, and when you open the whole thing up, there is a 4-inch HD screen inside of it, and it's got a USB port, so you
To
can
charge.
download and
Wow.
charge, and you can charge it back up. But as soon as you open it up, it's pops on, and it starts playing visual art that they've done and put in a presentation
Wow.
to play for the
Wow.
That's
purchaser.
crazy.
That
They
is nuts.
they went
And apparently,
all,
this is their scaled down version of what they really wanted
What
to
they
put
wanted
out.
to originally do.
Yeah, but I guess the execs were like, you guys don't understand. This isn't physically possible what you want to do.
Right.
But it's got a speaker in it and everything. It's
you can pause, you can play it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
higher
New
volume.
reality.
yeah.
I mean, it's pretty impressive what they did, and now they're going for premium, of course, on the markets.
What was it, like
eBay.
$500 on eBay now?
The majority of the ones I see go for $150 to $200.
But
and
they have
now
them
they've
listed.
Had them
They've had
at
'em
$500 or
listed.
$600.
So how much was it in the store?
$40.
Well, 45.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
That's what it was. But again, we're talking moments. The moment stores opened, you could have looked online to see who had them, and they were already marked sold out. I mean, they were just gone. And Tool's got a rabid fan base, so
And Tool has been always one to put out smaller numbers because they figure quality over quantity.
yeah,
You know, so
which is good.
Because of this new one, like people are rediscovering Tool. They were talking about how like all of that. It wasn't just this new CD, but all of their CDs started charting again.
Well, then that's also so Tool finally opened up and put their music on streaming platforms. So
Yeah.
they gave it to Amazon, they gave it to Apple, they gave it to Spotify, they gave it to a bunch of wherever you listen to music, you can now actually stream Tool.
Which, I mean, to be fair, I did that even before. Like, as I was going to get the CD, I'm listening to the.
Well, yeah, and
to the
I had
soundtrack.
already done the same thing. I mean, I have all the albums, but I'm like, finally, I can listen to it on my phone at work and my Bluetooth now
Yeah.
instead of going, "Where's my iPod?
Right.
Where's my plug-in headphones?" Okay,
Well, and when he means
shit,
iPod,
it's not
he
charged,
means
and then I got to plug,
Right.
you know,
old scrolly.
click wheel.
scroll- yeah, it was click wheel.
Like full-on iPod click wheel. Like
Oh,
that's the
wow.
only. That's yeah.
Which will be the next thing that our kids end up collecting. Do you remember when they had
you remember
iPods and
this?
it wasn't beamed directly
Yeah.
into your brain, and
Yeah.
you know, it was,
Yeah.
it'll be nuts.
Remember having to listen to things with your ears?
It was crazy, Dad. I don't know how you guys made it. I was like, what are you talking
It was
about?
rough. Yeah.
It was rough.
Well, you know,
It was so rough.
I mean, it happens. But I mean, the album itself, I'm a fan of it. I like it. I haven't listened to a lot of Tool. 10,000 Days was their last one, right? And I like this one more than I like 10,000 Days.
And that's very
But
surprising.
Jansen, I think you had a great comment though when we were talking about it earlier.
Because you picked it up too, right? You've heard the latest one?
No, I haven't bought it yet. I just was listening to it on YouTube.
Oh, gotcha.
But yeah, I listened to it walking into work the other day, and I mean it's all right, but it's very instrumental. Like there's a lot of instrumentals in it, and so it's like Maynard was like, "All right, guys, you guys are doing a lot of work on this one." I mean, for real, like each song, it's like 12 minutes long.
Yeah.
And, there's
Tempest is
15. Yeah,
Just over 15?
yeah. There's Tempest is 15 minutes long.
And then
So
Numa
Numa
is like my
12.
one. That's 12 minutes.
10 or 12. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a good CD. I mean, I like it. Again, the CD itself is phenomenal to look at. The artwork is fantastic on it.
But don't go spend $150 because someone's trying to sell and gouge you that shit on eBay. Don't do that. That's rude.
By the way, that eBay address for me is Paco. No, I'm just kidding.
That's just rude.
By the way, Jansen, if you need it, I've got one for like 150.
He'll give you a good deal.
Yeah.
125, bud.
I'm good, thank you. Though.
But it is a good album. We'll have something to announce a little bit later on one
Eventually,
of the
yeah.
one of
We
the other
might
shows
have
about
something
this.
About that, yeah.
There
Delve deeper into Tool.
There may be a floating device out there. We'll talk about it later.
Figure it out.
But to that point, we're gonna do quick hits now. We got 10 minutes left. Anyone see the new trailer for Birds of Prey?
Yeah.
I love Genesis because he's the opposite of us, and we were talking about this when I was guessing on your show, and I love that because you said, and I love the quote, I cannot disassociate and just turn off certain parts of my brain.
Right.
Everything's fully, involved when I'm watching a movie. So, and I said, if I look at a movie and I know it's going to be one of these fun movies, I shut my brain off because I just want to enjoy it.
Right. No, he doesn't give anybody a break.
No.
Yeah.
Can't do
But
that.
what about the enjoyment of distraction from time to time where you're just like, okay, good, I don't have to think about anything. It's just we're shutting this off. We're closing this down.
Well, it's the first time I see something that just makes no sense, and it doesn't make any sense how the characters got here or why they're doing, what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'm just like, this is stupid.
So that's that.
This is stupid.
And it's that piece that pulls you out of that
Right.
believability, that immersion where you're like, no, it doesn't make sense anymore.
And I've spent $12 for this stupidity.
Okay, since Waxahachie, Tuesdays, $5 at the Showbiz.
Okay.
But I
So-
don't think
We
it's-
don't really go out there unless we have to.
But I don't think it's a money thing. And hey,
pleasant.
you're naming all these places. They need to be paying us. Sponsor Showbiz, Waxahachie, pay up. No, so here's the thing though. But because of that, like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you paid $5, if you paid $12. If it doesn't make sense to you, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
I'm looking at the trailer, and you can tell they're trying to have fun because the first thing right off the bat, we're gonna pose this as a trailer for It.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I love the fact that she's hitting the balloons. It's like, hi, we're over clowns.
Yeah,
you know,
so
it's like,
clowns,
yeah.
Okay.
So it's cute. Obviously, I got to see more than this teaser.
Right, yeah.
I have to.
Yeah.
Is that where it pulled you out of the thing immediately? Where you're like, okay, this
I was like,
is Jack now.
I was like, that's a corny. I get it, but I was like, it's a little bit corny. But I was like, okay,
right from the rip, they just lost you at that point. You were like, this is dumb.
yeah. You just use your mallet, you hit all the balloons, and sew over clowns. Okay.
I am curious. It was that first person, or the fourth wall breakdown. Are we going to see a little bit of Deadpool going on in this? I don't know. I don't know. But
Yeah, 'cause
there's
Yeah.
a couple of quick scenes of her where she's,
She's
dead eyeing the camera.
Yeah, because I only watched it the
You
one
know.
time, but
Yeah, but there are a couple scenes where she's looking right at you. So I'm like, I don't know if I do that with Harley because Deadpool it works with because this character's
That's part of
created
the
that
character,
way.
yeah, that was
I
part
don't
of
know
the
if it's
whole
going to
thing.
work for them, but we'll see. And then of course the big movie coming up, which came really out of left field, which is Joker. It's not
Yeah.
connected,
Right.
but everybody's screaming Oscar already for Joaquin Phoenix's portrayal. I mean, first off, what do we think of the last trailer? And there are some slight little bit connections that you see going into
Yeah.
the DCU proper, though I think it's just more of an homage than it is any type of connection. But what was y'all's feel on that trailer?
I was actually I'm getting more excited about seeing the full premise of the film. When you can start to see kind of what's going on, even though I don't know the story yet, what I can glean from the trailer at this moment, I'm like, you know what? This is actually looking very exciting. This what appears to be this icon growing to popularity and causing a fervor in the streets. but going on to a talk show and being called up on a talk show, it's like this is very interesting, and I'm really curious to see how they swing this and how this goes, because it looks fascinating. I didn't think this would ever be a Joker story, and the way they're playing it makes me very intrigued.
Almost where he's the hero.
In a way, he's like very
Yeah.
anti-hero, but in a way,
Yeah.
that's yeah.
I love Joaquin Phoenix. So at this point, I just think he's a great actor. So
Oh, yeah.
it's like I just want to see it just because of him.
So Todd Phillips, who's directing Inspirations, The Man Who Laughs, which ironically is a silent film, but also was the inspiration for Joker in his,
Really?
his look.
Really?
So I love the fact that he
Huh.
went back to that well. He said Taxi Driver, and then he said,
Thank you. Perfect. Oh,
Yes.
perfect idea of comparison for
yeah,
that.
he said Taxi Driver was very much in there. He goes, in the film, everyone who's seen it is like, it plays very much like a darker version of Taxi Driver, which I didn't think is possible. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest with Jack Nicholson.
Love that movie.
He's looking at that, and then also comic book, The Killing Joke, is also another inspiration. So you see a lot of where he is more fleshed out as a person in The Killing Joke, with Alan Moore having written that. But I'm excited for it. It is going to be under what they're calling it now as the Black Label for DC, which will be more adult.
So it's aged for 12 years
aged-
versus
it's
7
aged.
years.
There you go.
Charred oak barrels.
Charred, yeah,
Charred
that's right.
barrels.
Yo,
Yeah,
but I
barrels.
thought that wasn't confirmed that they're doing it under that label yet.
They, from what everyone is saying at the theater, that the few that have seen this are saying that they've got another screen that will scroll back in front of it to show that it's a DC Black Label.
Does Zach
universe.
Wilde have anything to do with this?
Here's the thing: there's a scene where
Totally missed that.
I got you.
Fair enough.
He's staying.
I got you. I'm staying focused. here.
Okay.
I'm trying to put the train back on. But there is a scene where they're showing a theater, and there's a family walking out. They're all running out. But if you
yeah.
noticed, it's Excalibur is playing. The theater looks familiar, and if you go back into how Batman vs Superman opened up,
Yeah, it was Excalibur in the
Excalibur was the one that was playing. But the
I
theater
can't go back to that.
I can't go back to that.
the theater is looking a lot like the theater that they walk. Is it coincident? Is it an homage? I don't know. I hope they're not trying to tie this in, because this looks like a movie I want to see
Or,
for its own merits.
If anything, if they tie it in, let's hope it's more of an Elseworlds kind of deal.
Yeah.
It's that this is that parallel dimension, and therefore the theater can play itself, together. But this is this world.
So I have a quick question. I know we're up against it, but if you're saying he could win awards for this, I hope he does, and if he does, I hope it ties in with more DC movies. Even though I
That'd be
don't
great.
like Detective Comics, however,
yeah, that's a show and their thing. We love DC here.
Easy.
Okay. We strongly like DC here.
however, if this brings in a whole new audience and the Joker becomes the highest-grossing DC film, right? Are we afraid that all of the films will go this direction and it will be less superhero-esque and more drama?
So here's the thing, and this is what we've always said about DC. DC, up until Aquaman. No, we'll go back one further. Up until Wonder Woman. Was very much an art house films. That's just how it was. They were a little bit ahead of the time. I think the reason you have this under what they're going to call as a black label is they realize there is an audience for it. But if we're going to do it, then we're going to let our directors have unrestricted access to whatever they want to do. So if they want to put out a rated R version of this, that's fine with us. This movie only cost $55 million to make, which is by far their cheapest movie they've ever done.
You don't have to throw in all the special effects.
Next to Shazam, ironically enough, which was $90 million. But they're already thinking that this is going to gross $100 million right off the bat. It looks to argue for first place for highest rated R film when it's going to be released. It's not just Joaquin Phoenix are talking about having an Oscar. They're talking about this movie actually being in the running for Best Picture on its own merits. I don't know. I went from my interest was peaked, kind of curious, to I don't really care about it, to the last trailer. I'm like, okay. I was like Sean. I was like, maybe they have something here. I think at the very minimum, I want to go see this now. I want to go pay that money to go see it.
My thing with it is DC, Warner Brothers, you need to do something different.
And that was
You need to do something different.
Yeah,
So,
and that's something that
okay.
we've talked about for years. Where, in fact, I mentioned, I think, back when Shazam came out, which was DC made a mistake. Originally, they were going to do Justice League Mortal and introduce everybody all at once, then do their standalone films. And and then they dropped that and they tried to copy Marvel's
Right.
concept, and I think I've always thought it was a bad idea. In fact, I thought the entire idea of an integrated universe for DC was wrong. It was a bad idea. They'd already had such success with The Dark Knight, right? Just go ahead and say, look, all these characters exist. We're going to tell our own stories. And if somebody wants Batman to show up in a Superman movie, great. But it's a Batman for that universe only, right? He'll have his own unique design, that own actor.
That way you don't have to tie him into all the other ancillary films.
Exactly, and you can make these
Gives you more
independent
freedom.
films. Yeah.
Gives you more freedom.
And I think also one of the things that we've discussed, and we probably should do a show on it, is what, I think having a smaller budget for this movie helps. When you don't have the money to do anything you want, you have to get creative.
Look at Deadpool 1.
Yeah.
The first Deadpool, they had one of the smallest budgets ever, and when they did Deadpool 2, they said the same thing. Let's keep the budget.
But you've always been able to do
Yeah.
this with a Batman type individual. I mean, to sit there and try to do this for a Superman film, and I think we'll disagree here real quick, and I'll keep this short because I know we got to wrap. But Man of Steel, I think, was a great flick for what it was. But you can't do that on a $50 million budget.
No.
No,
You know,
you
you're
couldn't.
not
Not
gonna-
for
it's not
no,
gonna
you
look.
can't.
Well,
right?
you can't even pay the actors for that.
Yeah.
That were in.
Yeah, that was Russell Crowe's payment, I'm sure. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see how this fares
That's
out.
what they paid the guy who
I know,
brought Russell Crowe's
Crowe's
bagels in the morning.
Yeah.
God, I got to be that guy.
Yeah.
Or
It'll be the-
muffins.
or
Yeah, or
muffins.
muffins. Yeah. You're
So
selling yourself short, Jason.
quit giving your muffins away, man.
Yeah, dude.
But so anyway, I can't wait to review that when we finally get a chance. But it'll be interesting.
Ultimately, back to your initial question, I wouldn't be worried about them doing any kind of like this being the way these movies go forward, because to your point, I think you're right. I think they need to do something different.
Right.
Yeah.
And if this turns out good, lean into it.
Yeah.
Make
Yeah.
more like this.
There's a ton of characters that again, I would love to see a good, I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the last Constantine movie they came out with. I did with Keanu Reeves, but
Keep it rolling.
I would like to see them come back and do Constantine properly in a movie like this. Or
Oh, look at that
other
time, man! It's
characters.
time to sign out.
John Wick 4, Constantine Returns.
Yeah.
Again, a movie you shut your brain down for, but it's still really, really good.
No. Anyway, okay. Well,
He don't know how to do it.
wrap
Can't do
things
it.
He's like,
Just like, no, let me tell you the problems with this movie.
All of them.
But guys, thank you so much
Yes.
for
Yeah,
coming
thanks
on
for
the show.
having us.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks
you
for
to
joining us. It was a
ANX,
good time, yeah.
Genesis, and
Unbiased.
Unbiased Stan. I was about to
That's right.
call
Keep
you
it real.
Keep it real, man. So, okay, how can people find you?
Everywhere. Google us, ANX Gamecast. We have podcasts on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts app, everywhere. And our main page is on Instagram. Just look at ANX Gamecast. We also have a website, anxgamecenter.com, where you can find all of these links.
rock on.
All right.
Nice,
Well, guys,
Very
go
nice.
look them up. They are awesome.
Where can they find us? We've got like 2 places.
Yeah. You can find us on Facebook
And Facebook.
or on
got two
Gmail.
Oh, we got YouTube.
We have a webpage. So yeah, find us, please. Like I said,
One day we're going to start promoting.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so thank you to Titan Comics for sponsoring us. Thank you for putting up with
Love
us.
you, Jeremy.
Thank you to Dallas on Air. Thank you, Jansen.
Love you, Jansen.
Also for putting up with us.
Yes.
Guys, again, find us on at our website, vagabondnerds.com. You can find us on Facebook. Please join the new page so we can just move everything over there. Tomorrow, actually, which is September 10th? No, 8th.
Keep going.
Whatever. Anyway, Sunday, I'll be at the Texas Comics and Toys in Arlington at the Courtyard Marriott. It's 711 Highlander.
Swing by and beat them.
Yes, $5 a punch.
He's actually selling things there. That's not just him inviting you to come to his hotel room.
He's going to sell his muffins there.
Yeah, I'll be doing drawing prints. Or again, I'm a whore. You can punch me for money.
or he's a whore, just whatever.
Yeah, that's for
Muffin
later.
puncher.
Yeah.
He's got you punch him in his muffin.
There you go. Punch him in his muffin.
Dead in his muffin.
All right, I'm done.
Thanks, everybody. Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone. We'll see you next show.